Coach Chadwell said he was auditioning for the next Top Gun movie, so that's the mustache.
If Tom Cruise is
watching. We'll start with an opening
watching.
statement from Coach Chadwell, and then we'll take questions for Coach and for the student athletes. Coach?
Yeah, I'll say if Tom Cruise is watching, I'm out there for the next sequel. So on behalf of President Michael Benson, Chairman Joe Mogley, and Athletic Director Matt Hogan, I'm thankful to be representing Coastal Carolina here with these two great men beside me. This is by far the most challenging season that we've faced since we moved to FBS football. Both sides of the ball, we've lost a lot of production, a lot of names that have been well known over the last couple of years. The thing that I'm excited about with this team and the culture that we have is the expectations don't change. And what we're about, what our program consists of, and the values of learning how to compete, learning how to do it with discipline, being accountable, and having passion for what you do. And that's what our program is built on. And even though we've lost some tremendous people, this is the season that our coaches look most forward to because we know the challenge of the new teams that we've added that are going to make this conference the best conference in non-autonomy and G5. We believe that. But that value system that we rely on in our program, these two men beside me, they live that every day. And the guys that are returning know what it takes to win and win at a high level. And that's the expectation for our program, the expectation from our players. And we're looking forward to this challenge and schedule that we have. And I think we have some young players that have the opportunity to step up this year and make some plays that are not well-known names now, but by the end of the year will be well-known. We're looking forward to the opportunity to represent Coastal and represent this Sun Belt in our non-conference. It's the most challenging non-conference that we faced since moving in 2017. And then that non-conference is going to prepare us for our schedule in the Sun Belt, specifically the East Division, the toughest conference in football. So I'll open it up with that for questions.
We'll take questions for Coach Chadwell and our student athletes. Grayson McCall on the left, Jerrod Clark on the right. For those of you in the room, if you have a question, please raise your hand, and also please stand if you would so we can get you on camera. Wait for a microphone to come to you. Please state your name and your media affiliation before you ask your question. And for those of you listening on Zoom, please type your questions into the chat and I'll read them for you. First questions in the room.
Coach Emmanuel Pepis, Sun Belt Conference. Just wanted to get you to touch on the defensive side of the ball. Some guys, like you said, there's going to be some new faces on that side, but just talk about a guy like Josiah and the impact that he had last year and how he can really kind of step forward and lead a group that, like you said, everybody's going to start knowing their names by the time this season goes along. But just kind of talk about the year that he had last season and what you expect from that side of the ball as a whole this year.
Well, Josiah did have a tremendous year to come on, as a freshman, lightly recruited to end up becoming a freshman All-American. I wish I could tell you we thought that was going to happen, but he really worked hard and put himself in a good position to earn that. And obviously being preseason player of the year is a lot of expectations, but none higher than what he asked for himself. I think the great thing for him is he doesn't have to be a leader. He just has to go and play his game. Jerrod Clark, a fourth-year player for us here, he's been a leader for that defense for us, and he carries that load for our defensive line as far as being a leader, being an example where our young players like Josiah can go out and play and continue to grow their game. But we don't have a lot of names that we've had. We don't have a lot of mullets on defense anymore. But we do have a lot of young people that are excited about playing, and I think what will make our defense unique, I think we have a chance to be a better defense than we've been in a long time, and the reason why over the last couple of years we've had to play basically 12, 13, 14 guys, that's it. I think this year you'll see us be able to rotate a lot of people up front, linebacker, and even in the secondary. I think we finally got some depth where we feel good about those ones and twos rolling in and out. And I think before the season's all said and done that we'll, statistically and visually on the field, we'll have a defense that really swarms the football.
I have a question from Zoom, Coach, from Brandon Dunn, ABC 15 Myrtle Beach. Can you talk about the expectation for Willie Moyes at running back after being named the most improved after spring practice?
Willie Moyes, an offensive lineman. Is that what you said there?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Willie Moyes was a young man out of Miami, Florida there that was a pretty highly recruited young man. That defensive line, we moved to O-line his first year. He came during COVID. And has been a maturation process with Willie, but he really improved this spring to put himself in a position to be a starter for us up front at the guard position. No secret, we lost 3 starting offensive linemen from our Mighty Might unit there. And that were great players, great teammates, and we have some question marks at offensive line as far as who's going to step up and earn those starting jobs. But Willie had a tremendous spring and has put himself this summer in a position to claim one of those starting jobs, and has a high ceiling, has all the potential in the world. Got to buy into the team concept and being consistent every day.
I have another Zoom question. This is for Grayson and Jerrod. The question is, can you talk a little bit about the Sun Belt East this year and the challenges that you'll be facing?
Yeah, absolutely. With the Sun Belt in general, specifically the East, you got to come to play every week. Can't just roll the ball out. You got to prepare for each team the same way because it's extremely competitive, especially adding these 4 new teams going to make it that much more competitive. So we're really looking forward to playing these new teams, traveling a little bit, going to some new places. It's going to be another exciting year in the Sun Belt, so we're looking forward to it.
I believe the addition to the East is going to open the eyes to kind of like the media and outside people, just how strong the Sun Belt is and how talented the Sun Belt is. Like, I remember watching these teams, when they weren't in our conference. I remember watching Marshall play in their games, and I remember watching Old Dominion playing in the bowl game. And it's just now that we have those additions to our conference and our side specifically, the competition level raises, and we're really excited to, get a chance to play these teams.
Coach, if you'd like to expound also on the Sun Belt East.
Yeah, I believe I'll give, Commissioner Gill and his leadership team, I think we hit a home run to steal from baseball as far as the addition of the teams. All 4 have, great traditions, great fan bases, great support. To be able to have, for us specifically in the East, with the addition of James Madison, Old Dominion up in Virginia, Marshall, West Virginia, that's easily reachable for our fans. You're going into places that are hard to play, and you're creating rivalries. And I think that's important. Having rivalries is healthy, and there's nothing like having rivalries. And to be able to have teams of that caliber with the addition of the ones we already have, will continue to raise, what we believe is the best conference in non-autonomy.
Jerrod, question for you. Just talking about what this program has been, and obviously you've been a big part of this program, and how well you guys execute on both sides of the ball. Kind of what does that mean to you, especially going into a year where there's always high expectations placed upon you guys, and just kind of what that means to you as you kind of not only look forward but look back at what your career has been here at Coastal.
If anybody paid attention to us since 2017, when we first came into FBS, it was hard for us. We went 3-9, then we went 5-7 twice. At some point, losing, you get tired of losing, and we kind of just did like a 360 as a team. Like, we just got on one goal and one focus. We got to win, and we stopped trying to win the season before every game. It just take one game at a time, approach every game like it's one step. And Coach Chadwell have us in team meetings, and there's a picture of steps and this basically is one step a week. We got to keep climbing. And that's all we do is we climb the whole season. You can't win the season in September. You got to take every game as it is. And coming from that experience, I spent my first 2 years in college, part of 5 and 7. And trust me, losing ain't fun. Winning is. And that's why we've lost 3 games in 2 years by a total of 8 points.
I have a question on Zoom for Grayson. The question is it easier now for you after stepping in as a freshman and taking over as the quarterback? Is it easier now for you?
I would say so. Just, getting that experience and getting those plays under my belt. Obviously I'm more familiar with the defenses I'm going to see week in and week out, more comfortable in our system and what we're trying to accomplish on offense. So, like I said earlier, the Sun Belt's extremely competitive, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's easier by any means, but definitely more comfortable for myself back there.
I have one more Zoom question. Did not see who it was from, and okay, now I understand why. It says, last year we looked forward to the mullet. What do we look forward to this year? I guess that's anybody's.
Yeah, well, I'll speak for myself, and yeah, you should see the mullets back out there for sure this year. A little bit of mullet magic never hurt anybody. So, me and Coach and some other guys on the team, we're gonna rock these stashes for a little bit, and you'll see the mullets back out there this fall as well.
Yeah, the mustaches are a fall camp thing. So we have a contest among coaches and the players, whoever wants to get involved, to see who can grow the best looking stash. I started early. I figured if I showed up with a mullet last year, I can show up with a mustache this year. And so, but it'll come off. We usually shave them right before school starts, which is August 24th.
To that, for you guys, is there a consensus who grew the best stash so far?
Well, we always, wait until the end. But as a head coach, I got the last say, so it'll be me. But there's some good ones. There's some good ones, especially among our strength staff. They do a nice job. Of course, they never shave anyway. But there'll be some good ones out there. We'll post a picture, so follow us on social media. We'll post it there at the end of August.
Mitchell Gladstone, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Jamey, you've seen this program grow in its presence, both in the Sun Belt and nationally. I know you talk about what the East Conference is now, but how much do you consider, obviously you don't know what's going on in different conversations with regards to realignment, but how much do you think about both your place where you guys are now in the Sun Belt and in the Sun Belt East, but also what your guys' place might be in the future depending on how things shake out? How much do you consider that as a coach?
I don't. There's too much that goes on to worry about things that are, above your pay grade and out of your control. I know from a standpoint how strong our conference is right now, and we're very thankful to be a part of that. 5 short years ago we were in FCS, and we couldn't have been in this league. So we're thankful that we are in it, and we try to be thankful for that and show gratitude and try to make our program be relevant in our league, because we feel like if we're relevant in our league, that means we're relevant nationally. We think the Sun Belt, East and West, not just the East and West, hold their own among the best teams in this country at the non-autonomy level. So I don't put any thought into it whatsoever.
Another question from Zoom from Brandon Dunn, ABC 15 Myrtle Beach. This is for Grayson. Grayson, could you talk about the offensive line and what you've seen so far from that group through the summer?
Yeah, absolutely. We returned 2 starters. Willie Lampkin, which was a freshman All-American. We've moved him to center. We've got one of our tackles in Antoine Loper returning, so that's great. We have 3 guys that are, kind of fighting for spots right now. A lot of guys that have been in the system for 2, 3, 4 years. A lot of guys that have waited their time, worked extremely hard, and are getting much more familiar with the system. So, we're excited for those guys to get their chance. We know they'll do great when they get out there, so we're excited for them.
And as a follow-up, Jerrod, you work against these guys all year long. What do you think about your offensive front?
Honestly, I got to give kudos to them, because without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. They push me, and they understand that, we're friends and we're cool, we're brothers. But once practice is on and we're in live reps, we just opponents. We're no longer friends. I'm not going to take it easy on you. They're not going to take it easy on me. And we push each other past limits. Yeah.
After joining the Sun Belt just a couple years ago, y'all have already blossomed into one of the best teams, not only in the conference but in the nation. What can you really credit that to on having such a fast turnaround into becoming a very quality program?
Well, I wouldn't classify it as fast, just because we had to go through some challenging times there as we made that transition. But it goes with beliefs of your players. Jerrod mentioned a little earlier, he was tired of losing. You don't lose necessarily because your players aren't good enough. You lose because you're not willing to do the things necessary to keep you from losing. And I say we, those guys made the decision to Coastal to stop being Coastal, stop beating Coastal, and stop beating ourselves by not doing the little things right or the big things right, eating right, sleep, all the different things it takes into being a winner and being a champion. And it starts in your mind. And it took us a while to understand the mindset of a champion and to believe that what that is, and believe that you can win games. There was a lot of hope. There was no belief. And once we got in our mind that we could be champions and do the things what champions do, then the results came on the field. But it took a lot of challenging time in the off season. Took a lot of challenging time through the struggles of 3-9 and 5-7, 5-7 to get to that point. And so that doesn't mean we're going to win 11 every year. But what that means is our team understands what our culture is about and how we have to win games. We're never going to roll the ball out and be just more talented than anybody. We have to do things necessary to win those games, and our players understand what that takes, and that's what got us there, the belief of being a champion and what champions do every day to be a champion.
Had a question from Zoom, and this is for all three of you for different areas. How big an impact have Trey Carter and Teddy Gallagher had as coaches so far? He said any of the three.
Oh, none at all. No, here's the great thing. Trey, Teddy, great players. Unbelievable leaders, and what they're able to do, they can take that experience from playing, the challenges that they faced in the highs and lows, and then they can use that experience to help our young people that they have the opportunity to coach and mentor grow. It's one thing to hear it from a coach, that's older than you, and you never played college football, whatever it may be, but to have a guy that they've experienced it with a teammate, I think it means a lot. Both of those young men are going to be great coaches. More important, they're going to be great fathers and husbands one day because they have the right stuff. And I'm thankful they chose on to stay with us and continue to give back to Coastal.
I think it's really special, and it shows the kind of the power of our program. Those guys coming back and taking the opportunity and taking the step to help our team and grow. And I think our players can really relate to them. They've been there, they've done it. They know what it takes, so it's a really special thing to see alumni and players come back to continue to help our program grow.
I like to say that Trey Carter and both Teddy hit me up after I got announced as one of the captains, and both of them said kind of like the similar things, is to continue their legacy and help build on, but do it better. And I feel like that's really important as guys who's coming back to be coaches, is to always want better than who they are, or better for themselves and better for the program. And I feel like they're going to come back and add on.
A Zoom question for Coach. You lost your starting place kicker to Mississippi State, your punter to graduation. Where are you right now for your special teams at those two spots?
We did. We lost, and our starting long snapper too. So we lost all three there that played a lot of football, but we have some young people in the program that have an opportunity to be pretty good, and we got a lot of competition there for our long snapper, for our punter, and our place kicker. And so it went through spring ball. It's obviously going through the summer, and this fall camp will be big in who we decide there. But we'll be confident who we run out there will be able to execute. The guys we lost did it in big games and did it for a long time. So, I know there was going to be probably some growing pains there. But once they get out there, we'll have confidence in who that is.
Any others from the floor? Back there?
Grayson, just a question for you about the receiving group this year. Obviously, some guys to replace from last year, but just talk about overall what you've noticed in the off season and just kind of building up to this year with that group and some of the things that you're excited for, really the nation to get to see from some guys that really are getting their opportunity now this year.
I had a great group of guys catching the ball for me last year. Obviously, you can't replace an Isaiah Likely. You can't replace a Javon Hiley. So obviously, we got a great transfer in Sam Pinkney from Georgia State. He's going to be a great add for us. He's done a great job since he's been on campus, fitting in and leading those younger guys. But we've got a lot of hungry guys that we're kind of under recruited and are getting their chance. They've worked extremely hard. We've got some guys that can run by you and can go up and get it. So they're going to be big names that are going to pop out this season. And, I'm really excited for them. I'm going to, help them grow as we go. And, I'm really excited to play with those guys this year.
Any other questions from the floor? Coach, Grayson, Jerrod, thank you very much for being with us. Good luck going forward this season. And we will continue in this room just about